Hey, this is Rich over at TVP Live with another quick tips tutorials brought to you by Photoshop Elements Custom Tutorials Group. And let's jump right in with today's poster. Wanted to be able to exchange this deer with this fawn. Now, I'm looking at the both of them going back and forth, and I think the head is pretty much similar, and the body's just a little bit thicker on the deer. So I'm thinking, what if we just changed the center of the body and kind of fixed everything up, and maybe we can get away with that, because changing the head and everything is going to be really difficult because this photo is not the same sharpness all the way through. You can see it's totally out of focus in the front and in the background, and only in focus where the deer is at. That's going to be really hard to use the stamp tool, because then we'd have to pick portions of the photo to match right there where the deer is. And since it's all in focus right here, there's nothing extra to pick from. So let's go ahead and try to grab this fawn, and let's just grab the center section of it. And I'm going to just grab all of this, like from here. Let's say it's going to include that tail. And I'm going to right click and copy that. Then I'll just grab that portion and I'll drag it over to my current project right here. Let's go ahead and try to match that as close as possible. So if I hold this right up to here, obviously the angle's a little off, so I'm going to pull this over here like that and turn it counterclockwise just a bit. And that's a much closer angle right around there. Now obviously the size is different, so let's go ahead and enlarge this original so that it better fits the size of the new one. And that's pretty darn close. Now I noticed the original deer in the background is longer, much longer. If I toggle this back and forth, it's a much longer deer. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to grab a portion of that picture. Let's go ahead and unlock that layer and grab it from, let's say, the neck over to the end of the body where the tail's at. And I'm going to cut that. And now I have a portion that's been cut out. I'm going to turn on the new fawn, take that cutout portion, and basically I can stretch that bigger or smaller. And I'm going to make it smaller, squeeze it a little bit smaller, so that the center portion of the deer matches the original. It's going to squeeze all the plants a little bit in the middle, but that's okay. We're not going to really notice that. Now we can take the original photo. I'll go ahead and cut out the end here. And I can squeeze that back, nudge it back into place where it's supposed to be. Right around there. Now we can't even tell that the center portion was squeezed to make the deer a little bit shorter. I can go ahead and grab these three pieces over here. I'll right click and I'll merge those back together so the background is still just one piece. Let's go ahead and turn our new piece on again, and let's get rid of the edges here. So I'm going to take an eraser, and we want it to be a small soft brush eraser. So let's say 5 point, something like that. And I'm going to carefully erase right along the edge of that white. I want to try to keep as much of the deer as I can, but make sure that I'm getting rid of the white, because if any of that white shows through, it's going to look fake. Then we can take a polygon tool and basically draw a big lasso around the rest of the leftover white, making sure not to grab any of the portions that we want to keep. If this is too hard for you, then go ahead and just use the polygon lasso, and then we can just go like this and go click, 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 and get rid of all that stuff. So that's looking pretty good. Now that we got rid of most of the white portions, let's go ahead and push by using the smudge tool. Watch this. We want to get rid of all this stuff up here. So if I just start smudging this down, and I tried this with the stamp clone tool, and it looked really obvious because there was no place to grab it from. So all we're doing is smudging and extending what's there. And once we finish smudging straight down, then we can go sideways to kind of mesh everything and make it look a little more natural. So it doesn't look like it's all up and down right here. And I'm using a hard brush on this. I tried with a soft brush and it didn't look as well. It was too smudgy looking. So now we want to do is get rid of the stuff that we don't need, which is the extra portions here. Let's go ahead and take a large eraser, like a 20 point, and dissolve a lot of this out. let's go ahead and grab the eraser and make it a huge eraser, like 150 point, and do a boom, boom, boom to get rid of those harsh points here where they match up. But now we got some leaves that are supposed to show through right here in the center portion, in the rear hind portion. Let's bring that back down to a really low value where we can see the leaves. See that right there? And then we take the eraser and let's do like a 20 point soft brush and erase these leaves out so that they come back up in front of the deer, or the fawn now. And once we got all of that erased out, let's go ahead and bring the opacity back up. I kind of liked it at 90%, so I'm going to bring that back up to about 90%. Now you see those leaves are back where they're supposed to be. So let's go ahead and back out a little bit. I think we'll take the smudge brush and smudge some of that tail back in a little bit. And now if the overall brightness is a little bit too bright, then we just, on that layer, go over to Enhance Lighting, Brightness, Contrast, and Brightness. Now the contrast of this fawn is a little bit too harsh, so if I lessen the contrast, you see what happens? It lightens up a little bit. And if I go all the way up, it's too harsh. So let's go ahead and bring it down a little, because the original deer was not that contrasty. And also the brightness. If I bring it back down, you can see where it's not blending in with the background. Or if I go too bright, you can see it's way too bright. So if I kind of play around with it until it starts looking really natural. And I think I like it right around here, which was -7 on the brightness and -11 on the contrast. And that's looking pretty good. This is before, after. It's really subtle. Oh, and let's add one more thing, is that tail here from the original photo is showing. So we want to get rid of that. How do we do that? Let's take the original layer, add a new blank layer, grab the clone stamping tool. Let's grab a big, large size 100 point stamp. And then with the Alt button, we want to grab something close to this side of the tree, but on a different tree. How about right down here? We'll grab this. Boom. Bring that back up here and just go like that. And we just got rid of the old tail. And all we got to do is merge this stuff down together, flatten it up, and crop it as desired, and you got yourself a whole new photo there. Well, this is Rich calling it quits for this tutorial, saying over and out.